Lust for a Vampire, another feature directed by Jimmy Sangster, penned by Tudor Gates, part 2 of Gates' so-named Karnstein trilogy, of which Lust for a Vampire is the second entry, preceded by The Vampire Lovers and followed by Twins of Evil. Lust for a Vampire may be my favourite of the three. Sangster's direction is rather admirable, the script is fairly strong. I seem to prefer the look of this film to Vampire Lovers, although maybe in some ways it is not as formally refined. I have read that this film was considered too camp in some circles. Maybe they are meaning that it is melodramatic, contains a lot of period gloss perhaps for its own sake, and isn't as sharply focused as Vampire Lovers. While I like the feverish style of this film, fascinatingly released the same year as Russell's The Devils, there really isn't that much else like it, and from Hammer in particular. Cinematographer David Meyer hasn't an enormous amount of credits. Along with this film, he shot Separation by Jack Bond, Mumsy Nanny, Sunny and Girly by Freddie Francis, a film called Neither the Sand Nor the Sea from 1972, which I'm curious to see, as well as the 1972 Monty Python feature, And Now for Something Completely Different. Tudor Gates' other film screenplay credits, excluding the Karnstein trilogy, include Mario Bava's seminal classic Diabolique, being one of the writers credited for Barbarella's screenplay. That film has a genuinely baffling number of writers involved in it. 1968's Naked You Die, aka The Miniskirt Murders by Antonio Margheriti, which some consider the blueprint for the giallo genre outright. He wrote a film called Fright from 1971, which I'd like to see, especially as it is directed by the rather great Peter Collinson, and, of all things, was an actor in that 1980 Jodorowsky film, Tusk, the one which people do not profess to like as much. All three films in the Karnstein trilogy were inspired quite loosely based on the 1872 novel from Sheridan Le Fanu titled Carmilla. It was not the only time Le Fanu's work was adapted to the screen. Dreyer's famous 1932 feature Vampire is based off one of Le Fanu's texts, along with 1964's Crypt of the Vampire, an Italian-Spanish film production which starred Christopher Lee, 1971's Let's Scare Jessica to Death, 1972's The Blood-Spattered Bride, and 1978's Alucarda, which is a very good film if my memory serves. A really strong film, one of the better Hammer films of the 70s, which, now that I think of it, was almost Hammer's most interesting decade. If we compare the 5 best 50s and then 60s Hammer films to the 5 best they released in the 70s, we'd find the 50s greatest, attempting to formatively configure the mould for Hammer classics going forward, and succeeding immensely at doing so even during the late 50s. The most holistic successes during the 60s subsequently, but then an adventurous exploration and convicted experimentation during the 70s, which is really confusingly dismissed by critics for no other reason than the films weren't as popular with general audiences. If this is a reason to dismiss films, I'm not sure if any reasoner ought to be publishing writings about this medium in the first place. If I feel like popping on a Hammer film, due to its set of colours, tonal originality, and my own general, by comparison, unfamiliarity with it, this, Lust for a Vampire, would be one of my likeliest picks. Hopefully the screen caps do at all a decent job of demonstrating why this is.